Jimmy G. Buckets. Kobe Bryant. Jimmy Butler. Kobe Bryant. Jimmy Butler. Kobe Bryant picked up by foul. There's the move. Two. Score. Listen. Unbelievable. Jimmy G. Buckets. It's reviewable. It was good. Give me the hot sauce. Unbelievable. He's amazing.
On this episode of NBA Now and Then, the greatest comparisons, we compare two of the most driven players to ever take a basketball court.
This NBA legend was as committed to winning as he was to the team he played for.
Their games centered around relentless work ethic.
His rise to NBA stardom came from humble beginnings.
With the ability to hit the biggest shots in the biggest moments.
These guys led their teams to plenty of improbable wins through sheer will.
We are honored to present to you Kobe Bryant and Jimmy Butler. I'm Uriah.
I'm Maurice.
I'm Lucas.
And I'm Ben.
And we're here to talk NBA
Now and Then.
Okay, we are now in episode 5 of our Hall of Fame archive. I've been looking forward to this for months, guys, because, well, for obvious reasons. But let me just preface our little intro with this, because a lot of true NBA hoopheads out there are probably calling this comparison blasphemous, because how dare anybody compare anybody to Kobe other than the great Michael Jordan? But let me just say this. By no means are we trying to create an argument where Jimmy Butler could ever be considered better than Kobe. That's not what this is about. In some episodes, too, it's not about who's better. Essentially, we are here because we're asking ourselves which player today is most like Kobe Bryant. And I think people, if they put it into that perspective, they'll understand where we're coming from. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah,
yes, it does.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's start with Ben. Ben, why are we comparing Jimmy Butler to Kobe today?
I think with Kobe, you think winning in 7 finals appearances. So what you just said, there's a lot of young guards that you could compare to Kobe, but part of Kobe's pedigree is the finals appearances, the championships through different iterations, through different decades. Jimmy's made 2 finals and many conference finals, so he didn't win the chip yet, but he is the guy most similar skilled-wise that has been making NBA finals.
Yeah, good point. Lucas, what about you?
Look, for me, it goes to why we're comparing them is focused primarily on how they step up during the playoffs. These two guys in more recent NBA history take their game to another level and take their team to another level during the playoffs and outperform, especially on the side of Jimmy Butler, what's expected during the regular season.
And Maurice?
The true comparison between Jimmy Butler and Kobe Bryant, I would say, is more mental than anything else. I think mentally, they're both the strongest, toughest players that we've seen in a long time. We talk about the Mamba Mentality. Well, Jimmy Butler has his own mentality as well. You see that in the playoffs every single year where he can, by sheer will, carry his team past what our expectations of that team would be in the playoffs.
Yeah, everything that you guys mentioned, I can agree with. I look at these players, and if you go back to the beginning of their careers, I think the one thing that's interesting to me is they both took a while to flourish. It's not like they came into the league like LeBron and just was handling business and doing things that people didn't expect. And as far as, I guess, mechanics, exceptional body control, both of these guys, and the mentality is one thing, but I would also add to that the intensity of their focus. When these guys are in a zone, don't go anywhere near them. Like, just don't.
Right.
Because you're going to feel their wrath, especially if you're a teammate in practice. And I'm sure there's some stories that Maurice will get into with teammates later. But all right, let's get into it.
First quarter, background.
All right, it's time to talk about Jimmy Butler, a.k.a. Jimmy G. Buckets, a.k.a. Playoff Jimmy. But before he was tagged those nicknames, he was born Jimmy Butler III on September 14th, 1989 in Tomball, Texas. It's been well documented that Jimmy Butler didn't have his father in his life growing up. He was also kicked out of his house by his mother when he was 13, but he was taken in by a family of one of his high school teammates. In an interview with Chicago Magazine, Jimmy opened up about his upbringing. He emphasized how he doesn't like to discuss his past because, well, he just doesn't like looking back. True or false, guys? Jimmy Butler hates reliving the past so much that he removed the rear view mirror in his car. True or false?
I'm going to say true. That sounds like something he would do.
Yeah, that's too specific. That's true.
I'm going to say false just because legally, I don't know how that's possible.
Jimmy doesn't care about that.
Same thing. Jimmy caring about traffic violations? I don't know. Well, doesn't he have a minivan or something?
Who knows?
Yeah,
No.
one time he drove.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Okay.
With those Chicago Bulls, yeah.
Yeah. Well, the answer is true. That was very specific. But anyway, so let's get to basketball. In high school, Jimmy Butler was the best player on his team. According to NBA.com, he was a two-time letter winner at Tomball High, where Jimmy averaged 19.9 points a game. Over-under for rebounds in high school, Jimmy Butler, I'll give you over-under 7 per game. Lucas?
It got to be over. He's too much of a dog.
Ben?
I'm going to say under because, yeah, just because.
Just because.
Maurice?
I'm going to say under. I don't know what his height was, but I'm going to say under as well.
That's an interesting factor. I didn't even think of that. The height might have something to do with it. But in this case, go ahead and gloat, Lucas. You were right. He had 8.7 rebounds a game in high school.
He's just too much of a dog. It doesn't matter about the height.
Yeah, that's true. As a senior, he earned first-team All-District honors, and he was also a team captain during his senior season. Let's talk a little bit about what we just learned about his pre-college years. Maurice, anything stand out to you about his upbringing?
Yeah, that's a pretty tough upbringing. It's hard to really even talk about that without being in that situation, but just thankful for him that he landed somewhere where he got the love necessary and the proper parenting and tutelage to grow up and become a collegiate athlete and then a professional athlete.
Yeah, I feel like there hasn't been enough about that story. It's good that he had a friend. I think I read that the friend was on his team too, so it was like a teammate. I'd love to know more about that family. I'd love to know more about that journey. So, because Jimmy Butler, he's crazy, but he seems like a really upstanding guy.
For me, it just kind of explains a little bit about why he is who he is. He has a good moral compass, in my opinion, just based off of what we know. Yet, he's one of the most hardest working people in the NBA. That's why we're doing this. This is part of the reason why we're doing this comparison. Coming from that type of background where nothing is given to you, it makes a lot of sense.
Being raised in that situation or going from instability to stability with the help of a family friend or a teammate's family is special. It's unique. In the article that I read, he's very grateful for that family taking him in. Ben, you mentioned high school teammate. But just wanted to let you guys know, in case you're wondering, he does have a relationship with his father. He did reconcile, and even with his mother. So I think Jimmy's in a better place when it comes to his family.
That's good.
All right, so let's now talk about his transition to college. So Jimmy Butler, believe it or not, was not widely recruited. The only school interested in his basketball skills was Tyler Community College in Tyler, Texas. Butler spent a season at Tyler Junior College where he averaged 18.1 points, a little over 7.5 rebounds, and 3 assists before transferring to Marquette.
Yep.
Now, as a sophomore, did he come off the bench or was he a starter his first year? Maurice, what do you think?
Bench,
but I have a fun fact about his Marquette days after you're done.
Okay, Ben?
Bench, because I remember there's some NBA players on his team.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You guys are right. He came off the bench. He had to pay his dues with bottled pennies, right? His numbers are not like astronomical at all. He averaged just 5.5 points, a little under 4 rebounds. By his senior year at Marquette, he averaged close to 16 points, 6 boards, 2 assists. He helped lead his team to the Sweet 16 his final year. Finally, he earned all Big East honorable mention in his junior and senior seasons. He eventually declared himself for the NBA draft, where he was chosen by the Chicago Bulls.
With the 30th pick in the 2011 draft, the Chicago Bulls select Jimmy Butler from Marquette University. This is the end of the first round. And I want to thank all of you fans for your enthusiasm, and I want to thank Prudential Center for its hospitality. The second round of the 2011 NBA draft will be conducted by NBA Deputy Commissioner Adam Silver.
All right, so what comes to mind after hearing that clip and hearing some of his college stats? Lucas, go ahead.
He did have a couple of NBA players on his team. One of them still currently in the NBA. Do you guys know who it is?
Udonis Haslem.
Nope. Give you a hint. He's still playing in the same state that he went to college in.
Can we get a little more of a hint?
It's a 3-and-D guy. I forget his name. It's he's on the Bucks.
Jay Crowder, guys. Come on.
Oh, that's right. I do
Jay Crowder,
yeah.
Lazar Hayward was another one. He was in the league for a couple years.
Okay.
But the real interesting fact is that in college, he played multiple times against a current NBA head coach. You know who that head coach is?
I know who that is. Missoula.
I know who that is.
Yeah, Joe Missoula.
Yeah.
Yep. West Virginia. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool to think about. If you think about it like that, they actually, they just met again in the Eastern Conference Finals this past year.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Jimmy got the best of Missoula again.
I do remember seeing a couple Marquette games on, and like you said, the stats don't really jump out at you, but you've seen that he was a really good NBA prospect, 3-and-D. He can give you something offensively. You could have seen the prototypical 2-3 wing player that can be successful in the NBA.
Yeah, I'm surprised you're right. You listed off his accolades, and I don't know if the Big East wasn't, although Kemba was in that draft, was drafted pretty high with UConn. But
the Big East was at the end of its rope. It was last year.
Yeah, I guess it was weak.
College football stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So the fact that he made the Sweet 16, had Big East honors, and 6'8" can handle and defend, I'm a little surprised he slid to 30. Given
he didn't have a consistent outside shot. That's
why. Okay.
Yeah.
Offensively, he wasn't there yet, but at least defensively, you knew that he can be an NBA player.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the handle was always there. The size and the ball handling, though, I'm surprised he fell to 30.
Yeah, I love his story. That whole journey, starting from the bottom and making his way up to the top. One thing that is interesting in my research is that Jimmy Butler meant so much to that community in Texas that later on in 2018, City Councilman John Nix declared September 8th, 2018, Jimmy Butler Day.
Wow.
So that's a pretty big deal when you have a day named after you. And also this might be kind of understandable. He majored in communications at Marquette. So Jimmy kind of knew that he would be in front of the camera one day. And look, when he's done his career, we know he's going to be on TV somewhere doing something.
Podcasting, I feel, is going to be more his thing than TV.
Yeah, that would be a good. I could
see him if one of the inside guys retires. I don't know. I could see him.
I could see Jimmy doing movies. I could see him being. Yeah,
he was friends with Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah,
that's a good point, actually. Yeah.
He's already an entrepreneur with his wine business.
And coffee.
Coffee, too, yeah. No, does he have wine, or is it just coffee?
I think it's probably both.
What's the deal with his coffee? It's like $30. I've never had it.
It's apparently very high quality.
Okay. I heard it's just expensive.
Ben is in Hollywood. I could see Ben co-starring in a movie with Jimmy Butler. How cool would that be?
That would be cool. It's probably be some action movie.
All right, let's switch. It's time to talk about the Black Mamba, a.k.a. the Showboat, a.k.a. KB24, a.k.a. Lord of the Rings. Didn't know that even existed. But before he got those nicknames, he was born Kobe Bean Bryant on August 23rd, 1978 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Kobe Bryant is the son of former NBA player Joe Jelly Bean Bryant. Does anyone know where Kobe's name comes from?
I don't know. Maybe it's a European thing. His family traveled abroad, right? So maybe it's that.
Maurice, Ben?
Kobe beef.
Yeah, but where's that beef from?
Japan.
Yeah.
Japan? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So there's an area in Japan, I think it's a city or a province, something called Kobe, and that's where his dad got his name. Young Kobe spent some of his childhood in Italy, as was mentioned, Europe, when his dad played in the Italian league. Now, he grew up with two older sisters who were also really into sports. Kobe was a big-time basketball and soccer enthusiast growing up. I don't know if you guys knew that. In 1991, Bryant moved back to Philadelphia, where Kobe joined the Lower Merion High School basketball team, where he won multiple state titles, and he put up monster numbers. In Kobe's senior year alone, he averaged 30.8 points a game, 12 rebounds, 6.5 assists, 4 steals, and 3.8 block shots a game. Over under, guys. Here we go. Kobe's high school career high for points in a game. Over under 55.
Over.
Over.
All right.
What?
Whoa,
Yeah.
wow.
So believe it or not,
Wow.
Kobe, and I, like if you go to Basketball Reference, they actually have every single game listed for Kobe's high school career. So I looked through the numbers, and he scored 50 points twice his senior year. Never got the 55. Yeah, interesting. I would think the same thing. Another over-under. This time, let's go to the championship game his senior year. Now, they won the championship, but if you were to guess over-under 24 points in that game, would you say over-under Kobe scored? Let's go with Maurice.
I'm going to give it to Kobe. I'm going to say over.
I'm going to say under.
I'm going to say under.
Kobe scored 17 points in the championship game.
Yeah, I think that he's probably been triple team, so
yeah.
Oh.
And on top of that, Ben, it was a low-scoring game. If you look at all the scores from Lower Merion that year, it was like in the 70s and 80s. The championship game was 48-43. Really low-scoring game.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who'd they play? Who was it against?
Good question. It was some team with Erie, Pennsylvania.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So as far as his accolades, obviously he was Naismith High School Player of the Year. Back then, guys, I don't know if you remember it, Kobe was a big deal. I mean, the dude took Brandy to his prom, like the R&B singer. So he was a big deal. Gatorade Men's National Basketball Player of the Year, USA Today All USA First Team Player, and McDonald's All-American. So Kobe was an outstanding academic student. He scored high on his SATs. He was bilingual, but he decided to go straight to the NBA from high school. He was highly recruited as a senior, obviously, by Duke University and UNC. Does anyone know which college he would have chosen had he not turned pro?
I heard Temple.
North Carolina?
I'll go with an oddball here. I'm going to say Georgetown.
Georgetown. Well,
Surprised you didn't say West Virginia.
Hey,
Yeah.
I know that our basketball program has not been all that great. I'm willing to admit
Kobe
that.
would not be a Mountaineer. That would not happen in a
Don't
million
be
years.
Okay, I've already
Anyway.
admitted defeat here.
So the answer is North Carolina. The second part of that question is, why would he choose UNC? I'm curious if you know why he would pick
I think
Tar
the
Heels.
MJ connection there is pretty.
That's what you
pretty
would
easy.
think.
Yeah,
That's what you would think.
I would think Dean Smith.
Well, hold up. Didn't that same team have like Antoine Jameson, Vince Carter,
Because they were the 95 class. They would have
Rasheed
had...
Wallace? So yeah,
Do you have a theory,
No,
Ben? Why would he pick UNC?
it's the MJ, because that was his favorite player.
no, he just said you would think that, but it's not that.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I say
a
Dean
theory.
Smith.
What's the theory? He hates Duke? I don't know. I have no
A lot
idea.
of people hated Duke back in the day.
Yeah.
This is from an interview he had, I think, with Jimmy Kimmel. I can't remember. But he said, and I quote, Why North Carolina? Vince Carter. He was one of the top guards in the country at the time. And Kobe said, I want to play against him every single day. So now, as we know, Kobe was selected in the NBA draft straight out of high school.
With the 13th pick in the 1996 NBA draft, the Charlotte Hornets select Kobe Bryant from Lower Merion High School in Pennsylvania.
A coming out party for the high school kid. Kobe Bryant, meeting with the approval of that Charlotte fan in attendance here. And Hubie, this is a guy whose stock has risen every time he's tried out. People like this kid.
Well, everyone writing when he first came out, well, he's going to have to bulk up. This guy is 200 pounds at 6'6". He is an offensive whiz. He's very, very talented. He has all pro moves. And when you look at him, you're talking about a young man with range. He can go off the dribble. He can get his shot. And in every place that he worked out, nothing but raves. No one talking about any shortness or a weakness in his game.
Jerry West told me today that greatness lies ahead for this young man. Thought he was going to be absolutely fantastic. I recruited him out of high school, and certainly I believe everything he said in this man's ability.
Okay, some interesting comments there by Hubie Brown and some of the other people from the draft. So let's start with Lucas first. Think about what we just talked about, his high school accolades, his numbers. Lucas, what stands out to you about Kobe before entering the NBA?
That he didn't get drafted higher. I mean, look, Philly, they made the right choice in getting Allen Iverson. Let's be clear. Allen Iverson was a great player, but they had the opportunity to draft a kid out of high school first overall who was a local. They chose not to, which, both are Hall of Famers. Both were great in their own rights. Obviously Kobe probably had the better career, but it would have been interesting to see him in Philly playing for the Sixers.
Interesting. Maurice?
Yeah, that would have been a reach to take Kobe, who's projected to be like.
And I get it. It was a stacked draft. I get it.
Yeah, one of the best drafts ever. Hopefully, we do a comparison on that draft.
The best.
Yeah, arguably, but
arguably,
it's interesting that clip. They talked. Jerry West said that Kobe's going to be good, and then he was plotting to get Kobe the whole time. And of course, he was traded to the Lakers. So.
For Vlade Divac.
Yeah, if you're a Hornets fan, that's pretty tough to swallow 20-something years later.
So it's funny, Maurice, you said that Hornets. So in the clip, if you watch the video of it, there's this short guy. He's an adult, not a kid, I think. And he's got a number 1 Hornets jersey on. And he's like putting his hands up and he's excited that they got Kobe. And then all of a sudden they traded him. So kind of feel for that guy. I would like to know where that guy is today and interview him.
Yeah.
But anyway.
The Hornets made a couple bad trades in the draft. We did Shai Gilgeous-Alexander earlier.
Oh, they've missed a lot, man. They had Alonzo Mourning. They had some they also traded players away too early.
Or waited too late, like in Kemba.
They had prime Larry Johnson with Mourning. There were some really good teams. But yeah, the Hornets could be studied how much they've missed in drafts.
Ben, what about Kobe? Anything stand out? High school career?
A guard with size. I guess that's kind of why he was drafted. Because you got to think back in '96 to draft a guy out of high school. KG did it the year before, but he was a big. So I think Kobe's the first guard. Correct me if I'm wrong. Drafted out of high school. I mean, he must not be, but I drafted that high. Certainly a lottery pick. So that was in 1996. That was very brave to do. Yeah, I'm surprised he fell to 13. Allen Iverson was the unanimous number 1 pick back then, but I would have liked to see the Sixers trade for him.
I remember watching Iverson at Georgetown. I was in college at the time and saying, this guy is going to be number 1. And he was picked. And Kobe, look, I'm sure every Charlotte fan is kicking themselves or at least mad at the ownership of the Hornets. But the rest is history. He was a Laker, and he is an all-time legend. So my take is, I mentioned the academic aspect of Kobe, and this is from Shaq. Shaq, you can find this online. Shaq said that Kobe told him he got a 1,700 on the SATs.
I believe that.
I didn't even know it could go that high.
Whoa.
I thought it got cut off at 16.
Yeah, I could. Yeah.
Isn't that the perfect score?
1,600 was.
So either Shaq was a little off, but Kobe was borderline brilliant. I remember watching Kobe give a speech in high school, and he had no note cards. He had no paper to read. Cameras were all around. And just watching him stand up in front of his classmates, eloquent, affable, fun to listen to. And then the other thing is when Kobe was interviewed by Peter Vesey, this is later on, like I think 2018 or something like that. He was talking about being recruited by UNC. And Kobe told Peter Vesey in a story that he was in English class when he opened the recruitment letter from Dean Smith. Can you imagine, like, you're in high school and you open a letter and it's like, we want you at UNC? Like, that's just really cool to me.
Yeah, that's really cool. And yeah, I've always considered Kobe one of the more intelligent players in the NBA. And remember too, he was also fluent in Italian as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I was about to say he spoke multiple languages. I don't think it was just Italian, because didn't he speak Spanish with Powell?
Yeah, I think he did know. Yeah,
probably.
Yeah. I think it was at least 2, if not 3 languages.
In junior high, my basketball team was in Lower Marions. We were in the same league as them. And it was right after Kobe left. Mm-hmm. And, like, the legend was still there. We felt so cool, like, playing on, like, Lower Marions. And this is, like, an 8th grade team. But, yeah, he's a legend in, like, in Philly. The District 1 had Chester and Coatesville. Yeah. So Kobe was playing against Rip Hamilton. I don't know if that... But that was his.
I remember Rip Hamilton.
So Rip and Coatesville is like the big. Coatesville and Chester are the big District 1. That's the district Kobe's in. That I was.
I mean, look, Southern Delaware is not known for its basketball, so wasn't really that. But anyway, let's get back to it.
Yeah,
sorry, Uriah.
I'm going to transition. Let's do some stats.
Yes.
Second quarter. Statistics.
Nico a screen. Jimmy's open. He hangs. He fires. He scores. Big-time players make big-time plays. You here, they don't know if they're going to switch it, and then Jimmy's wide open. Bang, bang, bang. It's only 2 bangs, but he did knock it in, and the Bulls have the lead. Thomas looking around. No one home except Randall inside. Nice knock away the defense of Jimmy Butler. A second block shot. Outside Thomas. Shot clock at 6. Thomas to the right. Butler again. Butler's playing handball. And how about the timing? That was close, but the timing on both of those. He go back for Jimmy. Oh, scoring and a foul. Oh, wow. Spin out, and then Jimmy. He just kind of funneled that in. Watch right, he catches, and then he was able to force it toward the rim. That's his strength right there. Yeah, nice play. Timberwolves 11 total blocks tonight. And oh my goodness, Jimmy Butler! Are you kidding me? Just kind of marginal contact on the wrist, but Jimmy gets the...
So we just heard the highlights. Let's get into the numbers here. So Jimmy Butler is listed at 6'7", 230 pounds. His numbers are interesting. In Chicago, he wore 21. In both Minnesota and Philly, he wore 23. And now in Miami, he wore 22. Does anybody want to guess why he didn't wear 23 throughout the whole entire stint of his career?
Jordan's number was retired, I think, in Chicago.
Yeah,
so
in Chicago, but why not? Why not Miami?
Because wasn't LeBron 23? No, he was 6. I don't know.
Because Miami also retired Jordan's number 23.
Oh, they did? Okay.
Yes, they did.
Yeah. So, I remember Pat Riley being interviewed about that. Okay.
Yeah, so that's just a little
I didn't know
fun.
that. That's a good one.
Yeah. I mean, that's just all assumption based off of the knowledge that I have. That's why he hasn't done it, but, who knows for sure. Let's get into the stats here. Now, we're going to do a little something different versus last time. So first, I'm going to go through the regular season stats with you guys, and then we're going to go back and go through the postseason stats, okay? First, we're going to go with Jimmy Butler regular season stats. And if we're going with his best season as a regular season player, It's going to be the 2016-17 season, his last season with the Chicago Bulls. In that season, he had a career high 23.9 points, so 24 points per game, 6 rebounds, 5.5 assists, 2 steals. He also shot 45.5% from the field, almost 37% from the three-point line, and from the foul line, 86.5%. Now, it should be noted that he did lead the league in steals back in 2021 when he was with the Heat at 2.1. However, going to his career highs during the regular season now, over under, Jimmy Butler, career high during the regular season, 50 points.
I know this because it's over because it was against a team I follow.
Okay.
Yeah, over.
I was like, whatever. Yeah.
Ben always finds a way to insert Sixers. I was going to say under, but I guess Ben is right. Is that right, Lucas?
Yeah, it is 53. He scored over 50 at least twice in his career. Both his last 2 seasons with the Bulls, 53 and 52. He also had a career high 18 rebounds, 15 assists, 7 steals, 5 blocks. Anything that sticks out to you guys regarding that?
I'll go with the game high in blocks and steals. I think for him, I know Jimmy's 6'7", Lucas?
Yeah, 6'7".
He gets quick off his feet. And for him to get that many blocks in the game, it shows you his defensive versatility. Jimmy can get buckets, but the thing that makes him so special to me in his career is his defense.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that year. It was like they'd kind of given up on D Rose. I don't know if he left yet, but his usage was kind of what we see in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, who is this guy? And he just was putting up numbers. So yeah, like he didn't have anyone on his team.
Right.
And I think they made the playoffs. I think they were like a 7 or 8 seed with just him on the team. And it's interesting seeing like what he does.
Actually, no, they didn't.
They didn't.
15,
okay.
16? No, not that year.
Yeah, he was putting up a lot of numbers. I remember like watching him on SportsCenter every night. And against the Sixers, I think he had like a 53-point game, and I was like, who the hell is this guy? Never heard of him. Yeah.
That 14-15 season, they still had Derrick Rose, didn't they? Or was he just out that year?
No. It was 15-16.
15-16?
Yeah.
I think they finally had to get rid of him because he was hurt. He was hurt a couple years.
I think he was ready to move on, too.
Yeah.
I think he was ready to move on.
I'm not going to get into it because I'm going to save it for you, Maurice, but that's a really disappointing trajectory. Those two could have won a chip.
Yeah, before Derrick Rose injuries started to take his toll, Jimmy was always considered the number 2 guy, the guy who, guarded the best player on the other team. Mm-hmm. And for a lot of Jimmy's career, he was always that, I guess you would say 3-and-D type player. But as his game sort of came together, he became more of a versatile 2-way, both sides of the court, pretty dominant player.
So I want to point out something real quick. Jimmy, his first season only averaged 2.6 points per game. Second season, 8.5. Third season, 13. Fourth season, that's the 14-15 season. I think that was Derrick Rose's last season in there, if I remember correctly. Wow. I'm not 100% sure. He averaged 20.
Talk about growth.
It was his team at that point. His fourth season. That's pretty impressive. He was only 25 at the time.
Yeah.
Now let's get into the playoff numbers, which are pretty crazy here. It's very hard for me to choose these because he has had a lot of good playoff runs. You could go back to his time with the Bulls. You could go with his time with the Sixers, that Kawhi series, him and Kawhi going back and forth. Him taking Miami to their first conference final since LeBron James against LeBron James and matching him tit for tat during that finals series. But if we're going with some of the deepest run and the best numbers was this past one where he averaged 27 points per game, 6.5 rebounds, 6 assists, 1.8 steals while shooting 47% from the floor, 36% from the three-point line, and 80% from the foul line. Like I said, he's had other great runs and individual matchups, like going back to that Miami series back in 2019-20 season during the bubble. Like, during that finals, in my opinion, he either matched LeBron or outplayed him in certain games. So
yeah, that would have been my first thought. Would have been the bubble season.
He only averaged 22. He only averaged 22 during that run, though, the total run. Believe it or not.
Yeah, but when you watch that series, that run in the playoffs, first thing you thought was, man, defensively, he is carrying this team.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was playing close to 45 minutes per game, something like crazy like that.
Mm-hmm.
But
playoff career highs. This is where it gets interesting. Over under 55 points as a playoff career high.
I'll say under.
It's pretty recent, so it's over.
I'll go with Ben. I'll say over.
You two are correct.
Yeah,
it is 56.
Was it the Buck series?
Yeah, it's the Buck series.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Also, playoff career highs: 14 rebounds, 13 assists, 6 steals, 3 blocks, 6 turnovers. Any thoughts on the playoff stats now?
We all watch playoff basketball here, so we know Jimmy's just a playoff riser. He ran out of steam a little bit this past run. I think he was averaging 38 in that Bucks series. He always brings it to you on defense and the playmaking. Something about Jimmy in the playoffs is the game slows down for him in a way. His basketball IQ, he just controls the game in such a way that maybe LeBron, there's not. It's really cool to see. I feel like if he had a little bit of a better team, he would have won more championships, in my opinion. If maybe he would have stayed with better players, but anyway.
Yeah, playoff riser Jimmy is a thing, and I do remember that, Ben. He tailed off a little bit, ran out of steam. But as far as instances where he rises to the occasion, I think he puts on a clinic. He has a clear understanding of how to pace himself throughout the season. He could average 30 points a game if he wanted to, but he knows that he's going to be needed the most in the postseason. As far as that clinic I was talking about, I mentioned earlier, his body control, being able to draw fouls, using the backboard, being able to create contact, and just having great control of what he does with the basketball in the paint. And also, look, Jimmy is not like Zach LaVine where he's doing reverses and things like that, because he knows, okay, I just need to get the ball in the bucket. I need to do a slam dunk and get back on defense, right? So Jimmy doesn't have to be flashy. In the playoffs is not the time to be flashy. So he's all business, and that's one of the reasons why that we're comparing him, is because he steps up when the time is right in the playoffs.
So for during the regular season, his career average is 18, 5, and 4, right? During the playoffs, his career averages are 21, 6, and 4.5. So there is clearly an increase when it comes to him stepping up during the playoffs. Maurice, go ahead.
Yeah, to piggyback over Uriah was saying, I always thought that Jimmy conserved himself a little bit during the regular season. Not to say he wasn't going 100% every night, but from a physicality standpoint, I think he reserved himself for when it mattered the most, which was the playoffs. You always saw the best version of Jimmy Butler in the playoffs, like Uriah said, when it counted the most. And like I said in the intro, just the mentality that he had alongside Kobe, where it was balls to the wall when it mattered the most in the playoffs. And we saw that, and it was always fun to watch.
Long run out by Kobe Bryant. Behind the what did I just see? You just saw what Kobe does best, and that's bring people to their feet with a sensational play. Here we got a dribble drive, change of direction by Bryant. Slam dunk. Woo! You talk about elevation. Chick, he went up to the rafters before he decided to put somebody on a poster.
They'd love to get it into Nash's hands, and they do. Ball knocked away, stolen by Parker.
There it is.
Here comes George to Kobe Bryant. Bryant inside. It's good. It's good. Tie game. A 1-point game. Walton to tip it. Bryant with the save.
Oh, you're going to get a shot here.
Final seconds. Bryant for the win. Bang! Kobe Bryant has hit a shot at the buzzer.
4 away from Elgin Baylor's Laker record. For 3 again. Yes!
Well, there's 70.
Everybody wants it to get into Kobe's hands. Kobe pump fake for 2. Kobe's got the Laker record. 81-point game. Ladies and gentlemen, you have witnessed the second greatest scoring performance in NBA history.
So we just heard the highlights. Let's get into the numbers. So Kobe Bryant is listed at 6'6", 212 pounds, which feels kind of small for him. He seemed like the bulky type of guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's worn a couple different numbers, believe it or not. They have his lower Marion number, which is 33 here, and then he wore 8 from 97 to 2006, and then he switched over to 24 for the rest of his career. So his regular season stats, we're going to start with the 2005-6 season, where he had averaged career high 35.5 points per game, 5 rebounds, 4.5 assists, 2 steals, while shooting 45% from the field, 35% from the three-point line, and 85% from the foul line. Pretty impressive. Not very many players since the break of the new century have really averaged 35. You can probably name them all on one hand if you can honestly think about it. So then let's get into the career highs here. So for the regular season, the highlights said it. You guys know it. Tell me what it is.
81.
81 against Jalen Rose and the Toronto Raptors.
Oh, you got to put it on him.
I got to put it. Look, did you guys see that commercial when Jalen
hasn't seen it? They're in the restaurant. Yeah.
Yeah. It was so funny.
Oh, yeah. Classic.
He's like, can I get olives for my friend Jalen? He's like, how many? 81.
81 olives. Yeah.
81 olives. So let me ask you this. How many seasons did he reach over 60 points per game in one game? Outside of the 81 point game season.
I'm going to say 4.
5.
I'll say 4 times.
3.
Oh, man.
Only 3 other times outside of that 81-point game did he reach over 60 as a season high.
Okay.
So, including his last season when he ended the game, his last game where he had 60 points. So, besides that, he had a career high 16 rebounds, 17 assists. Talk about pass the ball, right? So, he also had 7 steals, 5 blocks, 11 turnovers. Besides that, so before we get into the playoff stats, let me ask you guys this. What do you guys think of the regular season numbers?
That 36, almost 36 points per game is, I think Harden and like Jordan, that's pretty much it recently. That's done that.
Jordan doesn't even count for this century, so
yeah, it's really pretty much just James Harden.
I mean, Joel got close with 33. Maybe.
Yeah, I feel like Luka will probably get it when Kyrie leaves. He'll probably get it. His usage is just insane.
Yeah,
but I think it's just James Harden because KD never did it.
KD's never had to do it. So his career high for usage was also 38.7, but that's the modern usage for most NBA stars now. So 38.7 was ridiculously high then, but any superstar now, 38 is pretty normal.
We always think about 81, but I think just as incredible was the 60 his last game.
Absolutely.
What was he? I want to say he was 36. No, he was 37.
But don't you think they were kind of letting him? They're kind of.
I was at that game.
I mean, you
thought I was at that game. I was at the game, guys. They let him. I think he took 50 shots.
Yeah.
But he still did it though. Like it was still in the context of an NBA game.
Mm-hmm.
I remember they played the Utah Jazz, but he still did it. That was what was impressive. But I think he took 50 shots.
Yeah.
But mind you, 37 years old. He's at the end of his run. He had to get Achilles injury.
Mm-hmm.
He's not the same physically.
I was about to say that last season, he only averaged 17 per game. 17 and a half.
He was at the end, but it was still incredible. Ben, what was your experience like in that arena doing that?
It was pretty surreal because it's almost like a movie moment. You never really see that. I actually left thinking it's too bad he's retiring. Because part of why he retired was the Lakers weren't good. They decided to rebuild. So I always thought, had he been on maybe a contender or a playoff team, I don't think he would have retired because he still had it.
Kobe was just different. I can't really you hated him, but you loved him all at the same time. He was one of those guys that, you hated to play against, but you loved whenever he did well.
The one thing that stood out to me, obviously the points per game. I remember Jordan in the 80s. I remember looking at the sports almanac and seeing him average 36, 37, whatever. And then Harden came about and averaged that much. But Kobe was an assassin. He knew he was a scorer. He was not a passer. You hit me with that 11 turnovers. I'm just trying to wonder if Shaq was on that team. I can imagine Shaq getting ticked off if that was a time period where he had 11 turnovers because, him and Shaq butted heads at certain points. But
so the 11 turnovers did not happen. The first time the 11 turnovers happened in the 07-08 season. He hit 10 turnovers a couple times later in his career, too.
Okay. All right, what about his playoff stats?
So let's get into playoff stats now. He averaged more per game on the losing teams that he was on. I mean, he did make the NBA Finals, averaging 30 per game when they lost to the Celtics in 08. But I'm going to go when he won Finals MVP the first time that he won Finals MVP, when he was the second stint without Shaq. So we're going to go with those stats here. He averaged 30 points per game, 5.5 rebounds, 5.5 assists, almost 2 steals per game while shooting 46% from the field, 35% from the three-point line, and 88% from the foul line. Pretty impressive. So let's go to the playoff career highs here. Over, under 14 assists as a playoff career high.
Over.
I'll go over.
Under.
Ben's right. It's under. It's 13.
Okay.
So that being said, he has career high 50-point playoff game back in the 05-06 season. He also had a career high 16 rebounds, 13 assists, 5 steals, 4 blocks, 7 turnovers. So besides that, real quick, let me just get into the all-time stats here with him real quick. Kobe is, in terms of career points, is 4th overall with 33,643 points. Points per game, he is 14th all-time in points per game at 25 points per game. Playoff points per game, he is 19th at 25.6. That being said, I give it to you, Uriah. Tell me, what are your thoughts with his playoff stats?
Well, the reason why I said over for the assists is because I remember I was talking about love-hate relationship. I was not really a big Kobe fan up until towards the end of his career.
Yeah.
I appreciated his greatness and commitment to excellence. But when I was younger, I used to look at him and be like, he's just a ball hog. He's a gunner.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what he was good at. So I look back and I critique my own aspect of how I viewed Kobe. But I remember he just would pass the ball in the second half of I think Game 7 against Phoenix. It was like to spite his team or management to show that he didn't have any help. So I remember watching that game like, why is he not shooting? He was doing it on purpose. So that's why I thought he probably had a lot of assists that game. But Kobe's greatness shines in the playoffs. Amazing playoff performer. And as far as points, it's like he's the guy, the go-to guy. And when Shaq was there, I'll never forget, and Ben might remember this and Maurice too, against Indiana, Shaq got in foul trouble and Kobe just became Kobe in that series and he never looked back.
Yeah, it's interesting his career in the playoffs because it wasn't he had like a 7-year gap of like kind of being on mediocre teams and putting up like 81 points. He never really went that far in the playoffs. The 50 points is surprising. I am a little surprised with that. I thought he would have scored more, even earlier in his career with the double teams from Shaq. I thought I feel like he would have had more than 50 points.
Undoubtedly, his second run, second championship run after Shaq, he was the man, and you saw more leadership, and Kobe took over when he needed to take over. Now, he had good players, and I'm talking about the players later, but I would say he had a better roster constructed around him. The team he had was so much better for Kobe his second run.
Third quarter, accolades.
Every All-Star, you realize that you belong a little bit more. I think that the more you get under your belt, the more you're like, yep, I belong here. I'm one of the best to ever play this game. I think I've gotten better a little bit every year. But now, I got something to talk to those guys about. I've been here before. And my first one was so awkward because I was like, I've never been in this All-Star locker room before. I don't know what to say to anybody. I don't have too much in common with them. The second one was a little bit better because I was like, yeah, I've been to an All-Star game before. Now we're going back again. I've been to 2. I'm starting now. This is a time to not worry about any of that pressure. This is time to just go out there and have fun. It's completely an honor to be voted in, and definitely as a starter. This is an honor, period, for you to be recognized for your extreme talent and how hard you've been working up to this point.
That was Jimmy Butler in an interview for the All-Star game. All right, so Jimmy, he doesn't have, obviously, the resume that Kobe has. But I was surprised with this. How many All-Star appearances do you think Jimmy Butler has? I'll start with you, Uriah.
Jimmy Butler has been an All-Star 8 times?
5.
You were all wrong.
What?
Yeah, 6. Uriah, I was surprised with 8 because he's kind of... The criticism of Jimmy is that he takes the regular season off. So I was actually surprised with 6 All-Stars. He had 4 straight from 2015 to 2018, 2020, and then 2022. How many All-NBA defensive teams has Jimmy Butler been a part of? I'll start with you, Maurice.
5.
How about 5? I think 5 sounds about right.
7.
Uriah and Maurice, you are the winners. He has been a 5-time, this is surprising, All-NBA second team. Jimmy Butler has never been first team All-Defense. That's actually pretty surprising.
Yeah,
nice. Never been first team. He is a 4-time All-NBA third team recipient, 2017, 2018, 2020, and 2021. Has he ever been part of a second or first team? Lucas, I'll start with you.
He's been on a second team once, and that was this past season. Otherwise, he's been All-NBA third team every other time.
All right. Uriah?
Lucas sounded very confident with that response.
We can skip this. We can say Lucas.
Okay, I had to look that up because I was trying to decide which statistical season I needed to use for Jimmy.
Okay, all right.
So you were like an encore reporter. That was pretty cool. So he did get second team this past year, which is people I think starting to respect. I feel like we're starting to respect Jimmy, his playoff success, and I'll just say it. His biggest accolade thus far is this past year, he was the NBA Eastern Conference Finals MVP, which is only been given out twice. I think Jason Tatum won it the year prior. How many times has Jimmy Butler been the NBA steals leader? I'll start with you, Maurice.
2.
1. All right, Uriah?
I think I read somewhere 1 time.
Yeah. In 2021, he was the NBA steals leader. And he was the NBA most improved player in 2015. So that year that Lucas was kind of focusing on, where people were like, who is this guy? When Derrick Rose, I think they kind of had finally,
cut ways.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then he won the gold medal in the 2016 Brazil Rio games.
Nice.
So he was a part of that gold medal team.
Yeah, I forgot that.
And that's pretty much it. I mean, something that was not on here is he's made the NBA Finals twice. And I believe he's made the conference finals, 4 times? He's made the finals twice.
Yeah.
And I think they've made the conference finals 4 times.
Did he ever make it with Chicago?
No, he's made it 4 times in Miami.
Oh. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, because
he only missed it once, right?
Yeah.
No. How many years has he been in Miami?
5. He's only missed it once.
For the roster Jimmy's had, he's never been on like a super team. Well, maybe if you count the Sixers, but let's not get into that right now.
That was definitely a super team. I think we could say that.
For the roster that Jimmy's had, specifically in Miami, to get to the finals that many times with that team, that says a lot.
I completely agree.
I think it says 2 things. Number 1, 2 things. 1, Jimmy Butler's him when it comes to the playoffs, and 2, Eric Spoelstra is one of the best playoff coaches in recent NBA history.
Yes, I agree.
And both guys, as we transition to Kobe's accolade, their half-court offense just slows down, and that translates so well to the playoffs. You see it with LeBron, you see it with Michael Jordan. All right, that's about it. He doesn't have, hopefully he can get that chip. Hopefully he can get that Finals MVP, but that's about it for Jimmy. He's a playoff riser, so a lot of his accolades and numbers come in the playoffs. So, what do you guys think about those awards? I'm going to say what stands out?
I've already said what I said.
You're right. You go.
Yeah, I want to go with most improved player. I think considering where he came from, considering he had to scratch and claw and break through obstacles, just to go from junior college to Marquette. Marquette's not Duke. Marquette's not Kansas. Marquette's not UCLA. Marquette is Marquette. Now, obviously, D. Wade went there, but it's not known for its basketball program compared to other big colleges. So to scratch and claw on a team like Chicago, which has a huge background of success, I mean, the shadow of Michael Jordan, right? So for him to average 2 points a game, like Lucas said earlier, and then win that award, I would think that that's one of his most cherished accolades, I would assume.
Yeah, I agree. Maurice, what about you?
I would say his most cherished accolade. No, I think I just spoke on it. Just getting to the finals with those teams the rosters that he's had, it's pretty incredible what one star player can lift your team to that height of of the playoffs. Is something that I really respect, and I wish some other superstar players could do that as well.
Yeah,
that's why I mentioned that, Maurice, I had to add the finals on there because that's a big part of his legacy. It's like those teams. Bam Adebayo is his second best player.
Yeah.
And like the squad he was rocking out there last year, Gabe Vincent and Caleb Martin, undrafted players, just really impressive stuff.
Yeah.
I really don't know what to say, to be honest with you. I think this is such a blessing and such an honor to be here and to receive this award. And I can go through a list of thank yous, starting with my family, who, they enable me to be the best I can be by training every day. And, they give up so much, to sacrifice so much for me to be able to train and prepare and focus on games. And I'm just very honored and very blessed for them to be here and, see my kids sitting there in the front row, and my agent, Rob Pelinka, and my friends from the league and my teammates, and the man who brought me in the league here, Jerry West. I mean, this is a beautiful day. It's a very special day for me, and I'm just deeply, deeply honored to be here. And I couldn't have won this award without the play of my teammates. This is a team award. This isn't an individual award. This is an award that I couldn't have won on my own. If that was the case, I would have won it when I was averaging 40. This gets done because we all do it as a unit, and so I can't thank these guys enough. These are my guys. These are my brothers, and we have won MVP.
Well, that is a great clip of Kobe Bryant winning the NBA MVP. I'll start that off with our accolades. He won the MVP. The 2007-2008 season, he was the NBA Most Valuable Player. I forgot Rob Pelinka was his agent, so I learned something in that clip.
That's how Rob Pelinka got into his organization.
Yeah.
I love it. So we have quite the list here. I'm not going to do the obvious ones because you guys will know it. He is a 5-time NBA championship. He did 3-peat in 2000, 2001, 2002, and then he had a 2-peat in 2009, 2010. How many times has Kobe Bryant been the NBA's Finals MVP? Maurice?
5. No, 4.
Finals MVP?
Finals MVP.
Well, I think Shaq won 3 of them, so I'm going to go with 2.
Lucas?
Also
2.
Dose.
All right. Uriah and Lucas, you are correct. And yeah, you are. Shaq was.
Yeah, Shaq got
we all know what he did.
Although Kobe had an
Although
argument
there was
one.
What year?
That last
that was the second. That was the second of the.
Uriah mentioned the Pacers series. I guess that was the only. That was the only one he had a shot at, right? That first run. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Shaq was just There was a year he averaged 38 points, right, in a playoff series.
Shaq, yeah, probably.
Finals, yeah. He arguably should have more MVPs. That's something on Kobe Bryant's resume. I believe the 36 point when he averaged 36 a game, they were a playoff team, and I think that was one of the shady, in my opinion, Steve Nash MVPs. This is a really impressive stat here. How many times has Kobe Bryant been an NBA All-Star? I'll start with you, Lucas.
Let's see. He made it as a rookie. We have to take out the season that he got injured.
He made it his second year.
He did make second year. So second year. So 2 years that he out of his 18-year career, we know for sure he did not make it. I'm gonna say 15 All-Stars.
I'll say 17.
I'll go 18.
So Lucas, I think he actually played 20 seasons. So you were right. You were right on your math. And then unfortunately that whole era, they need to kind of do an asterisk because, Iverson, Ray Allen, KG.
Yeah.
There was no All-Star game in 99. So Kobe would have had.
Okay.
He is an 18-time NBA All-Star. 18-time.
That is crazy.
It should be 19.
That is wild.
That's crazy.
That's nuts. So this is an impressive stat. How many times has he won the All-Star game MVP?
I'll go with you, I think Maurice. I know this one. All right, Lucas, you go. Since I want to say 3 times, 3 or 4 times. You know what? I'll stick with 3. 3 was my first gut.
I'll go with 2.
All right, Maurice.
I'll go 4.
Maurice, you're the winner. 4.
I should have gone with 4.
All right. So Kobe Bryant, he is a 2-time All-NBA second team player, 2-time All-NBA third team. How many times has he won the first team? I'm going to go with you, Uriah. First team All-NBA.
NBA. Wow.
Think about all those guards.
I know. 8 times? That's tough. He played so long. 8 times.
All right. Lucas?
I feel like it's less than that, but I'm going to give him respect and say 7.
Okay. Maurice?
At no point in time, Kobe was the 3rd best guard in the Western Conference.
It doesn't matter what we think. It matters what the voters then thought.
Yeah. Maurice.
I'm going to say 10.
Ow! That's high.
That's not right, because I just saw Ben's eyes.
No. Maurice, you were close. It's 11, guys.
Oh, wow, we were lowballing.
Wow. You were
lowballing, yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
sorry,
that's an impressive stat. That's like LeBron, only like LeBron Jordan era, like Shaq, like only. Yeah, you're looking at a very small group. So 11-time All-NBA first team. This is where Kobe kind of gets into the great top 5 all-time conversations. So you got 11-time All-NBA first team. 9-time All-NBA defensive first team.
Wow.
So you're really only looking at one other guy who has that, and that's Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Period. And so that's where Kobe, in my opinion, gets into the top 5 conversations with that. And I remember he locked down, they put him on Iverson. Like he could lock down anyone pretty early in his career. He's a 3-time All-NBA second team. So 12-time he was in an All-NBA second or first team defense. So just nuts. How many times has he won the scoring championship? I'm going to go with you, Uriah.
3 times.
Okay. Lucas?
3 times. Yeah, I want to say 3 times.
And Maurice?
Just to be different, I'll say 4.
He only won it twice. You have to think, and I think he lost out to T-Mac and Iverson. So you have to think about the numbers those guys are. So only won it twice. 06 and 07.
We deserve this.
Yeah.
You do. You deserve that.
So, hang on, Ben. I just want to interject real quick. You said Kobe top 5 debate. In my top 5, he is number 5 all time in my mind.
Okay. Yeah. I think he flirts between 5 and 9 if you really break it down. But for me, I've always had him around 5, 6 because of the defense. Kind of just showing his range. Kobe Bryant, we've shared about. He was the NBA his rookie year. He won the dunk contest.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember
classic
that.
Through the legs. He was part of the NBA All-Rookie second team. Now, Kobe came into a 60-plus win team right away as a rookie. And so he ended up getting playing time towards the end. He is part of the NBA 75th anniversary team. Both his numbers, Kobe had 2 iterations of his numbers, number 8 and then number 24 were retired by the Lakers. And then he is a 2-time Olympic gold medalist in 2008 and 2012. So what do you guys think of? I mean, what's not to think of? That list is insane. So, Maurice, what stands out to you, I guess?
Well, first of all, the first team All NBA 11 times. That comes down to reputation. When you're considered one of the best in the league for that long, 11. A lot of guys only get it once, and we consider them superstars. For Kobe to get it 11 times, that's truly amazing. The other thing I wanted to mention was, I think we all can agree, Kobe should have been MVP more than once.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's why I brought up the Nash. I think he was the biggest snub of that Nash. Shaq always says it's him. I think it was that 36-point. They were a playoff team. Give it to Kobe. He's Kobe. You got to give it to him.
At least one more.
Wasn't that around the time of his controversy? I think that's probably why they didn't give it to him.
No, this was like 06, 07?
No, that was a 5. Wasn't it?
You know what, Lucas? They would have been settling it. You're right. It would have been a little close. That might be why they didn't give it to him.
Yeah.
But because one of those seasons, Nash's numbers were really like, I get that whole team was good, but
giving Nash
those numbers were one, yeah. But he averaged like 14 points. Come on, man.
Yeah.
I mean, no disrespect to Steve Nash. He can probably be on here one of these episodes.
He gets one. He should get one.
Yeah.
Get one.
Yeah. Kobe should have had more than one MVP.
Absolutely.
I agree. And especially
and then LeBron came in too on top of that. Like as soon as it was Kobe's era, LeBron came in and everybody wanted to give LeBron because he's King James and everything.
Right. But I would say that's the biggest snub. That would be my note to Maurice was that year that he was he averaged 36 a game and dominated the league. I think that was the 81. Like, give it to him. He's Kobe Bryant. It's a playoff. They made the playoffs. Uriah, what about you? What stands out of all these accolades?
I'm going to go with all defensive team. And you look at the person that he modeled his game after, which is Michael Jordan, one of the greatest two-way players of all time. And we know that Kobe probably looked himself in the mirror for many years trying to be Michael Jordan. If you look at how...
Oh, yeah. The bald head and everything.
If you look at how Kobe celebrated, like pumping his fist or jumping up and down, and even in interviews, he tried to sound like Michael Jordan. When I played that clip of MVP, for the first time, I was like, this sounds like Jordan accepting an award. So, I mean, you can't knock him for wanting to be like the best player of all time. But defensively, I think that's one of the biggest reasons why I respect Kobe is because the passion that he had for scoring was also, he had the same passion for defense. If you look at a clip of when Steph Curry was starting to become the great player he was, like Kobe was picking him up at half court because he liked the challenge of taking on the team's best offensive player. So Kobe was a phenomenal force in this league. God rest his soul. But the one thing we can all agree on is whatever accolade you choose, you have to respect his passion and respect for the game. And he recognized that in himself, and his legacy will live on no matter what accolade you bring up.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a good point. And something to note about Kobe is he did tail end the GOAT debate. Kobe is one of those players that was excellent during MJ and LeBron, and then incredible guards in between. But that's something interesting about Kobe. His career, he touched both guys and was kind of starting to be dominant. Yeah, he had the bridge. Exactly.
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
You know, it's interesting. You listen to podcasts like All the Smoke, listen to guys that were contemporaries of both MJ, late MJ, like late prime MJ, end of career MJ, and Kobe Bryant. They don't have LeBron James number 2. They have Kobe number 2 as an all-time, as the second next to Jordan. So I just find that interesting.
And real quick, you mentioned that podcast before we transition. The first thing they ask every guest on the show is, who's the player that bust your, who's the first one to give you business in the NBA? A lot of people say Kobe.
A lot of people say Kobe.
Yeah, say Kobe.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when guys, you so rarely see it, MJ, when guys are that dominant offense. And then I remember in the finals, when he just like took the assignment of Iverson, and you're like, wait, this guy can play defense too? What?
Yeah.
Like, that's not fair. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Fourth quarter, teammates.
To me, he's probably the most blue-collar superstar we have in this league.
Jack, what is your what's your relationship with Jimmy? That goes back to Houston?
Yeah, me being a little older and him watching me and me making it, he kind of looked up to me a little bit to the point where we got to the league. And I was kind of a mentor to him because our attitudes and way we approach the game is the same. A lot of people didn't understand me. They said I was this and I was that, but one thing they couldn't say is I couldn't play basketball. And that was what me and Jimmy was said we had similar. We both loved the game. We both played with a lot of passion. And I see a lot of myself in Jimmy. Jimmy's just way more stronger, way more athletic than me. But, the way we approach the game was what we had in common. And it brought us to the point where we have like a brotherhood now. We talk all the time. And I'm one of his biggest fans.
Yeah, you bring up an interesting point with just a player's reputation, and you guys know this because we've all switched teams a number of times, and so you're going into a locker room or a guy gets traded into your locker room, and that guy carries with him whatever the book says that he is, right?
Yep, right.
And I think as teammates. It's funny because, Jimmy carried with him this reputation from Chicago and from Minnesota.
Yeah.
And within 2 weeks of him being in Philly, I'm like, I'm going to go hang with this guy. Like, I'm going to go to every meal on the road. I'm with Jimmy. Like, it's interesting how reputation isn't always reality.
Right.
All right, so let's talk about Jimmy Butler, drafted in the 2011 NBA draft. Let's talk about teammates a little bit. And before I start, I just want to switch it up a little bit and just ask you guys, because Jimmy's more of a recent player, so we kind of know who his superstar, his best teammates were, whether it be Derrick Rose toward the end of his prime or Karl Anthony Towns, Joel Embiid. Who is the player that comes close to resembling the best, I say, 1-2 punch Jimmy Butler's ever had?
I think his 1 year in Philly kind of proved it was him and Joel.
Yeah, it's exactly that. The chemistry was there, and had he just waited for Joel to develop more, I think that's going to be, if he doesn't win a chip, that'll be his biggest stain on his career.
I would say Derrick Rose, if Derrick Rose didn't play a similar position in terms of being a backcourt player, I think what Jimmy brought complemented what Joel Embiid had and vice versa. So I'll go with Embiid too. Yeah,
what could have been? That 1-2 punch, if they would have stayed together, and we all remember the clip, Tobias over me. Remember Jimmy saying that. And like I said earlier, Jimmy never had the greatest roster, but at least in Miami, he willed his way, and the players that he had around him, he got them to an NBA Finals. So what if he would have stayed in Philly and he still had Joel Embiid and
huge what if,
still a great player in Ben Simmons.
He seems to really like two-way players. It's why he didn't like Minnesota. They didn't play defense. That was his critique. So it is interesting that he left, because Miami plays so well because of their defense.
We'll get into Minnesota. But one quick fun fact. There was one player who played with Kobe and Jimmy Butler. Can anyone mention his name? Uriah?
Kobe and Jimmy Butler?
Yeah.
Okay, I know this, but do I? Hang on.
Is he on the Miami Heat right now with him?
I can't give you that clue.
Udonis Haslem.
No, Udonis retired. He retired.
Ben?
It would be someone that was on like those later Kobe teams. Like, I don't know, man.
Kwame Brown.
Yeah, that's it. I have no idea, because I know it's not Jordan Clarkson. It's not. I'm going to say Jordan Clarkson. I know that's wrong though.
Lucas?
This is tough because it's not. It wasn't on the Sixers. I know that.
You said you knew who it was. You can't backtrack now.
I thought I knew who it was, but then I was like, no, it can't be him. I thought maybe it was Dwight Howard, but Dwight came after Jimmy left, so that's not right. I'm trying to think here. Was it in Chicago? Because that was a long stint in Chicago.
Give me final answer, Lucas.
I don't know.
All right, so let me get an answer. It's Pau Gasol.
Oh,
that's right.
Chicago.
I should have known that. That's
I thought it was a Chicago teammate, but I couldn't think of all the Chicago.
Good fun fact. That's a good fun fact.
Yeah,
because
that's
we're comparing
He retired
these two players.
with the. Did he retire with Chicago or with the Spurs?
It was Spurs.
Okay,
it was Spurs. But anyway, let's move on. Jimmy Butler's started his career with the Bulls, like I said. Let me throw out some names of some players that played with him with the Chicago Bulls. Carlos Boozer.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Joakim Noah. Was a good player for a little bit there.
Joakim Noah. Loved watching him play.
Doug McDermott. Bobby Portis, who's still in the league, still a really good player with the Bucks. Mm-hmm. Nate Robinson, Robin Lopez, Richard Hamilton, who he played with in the 2012-2013 season. Rajon Rondo.
Yep.
Don't forget Rondo played with the Bulls.
I remember that.
Yeah, that youth versus veteran Bull team. Yep.
And, of course, he played a season with Dwayne Wade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, after the Bulls, he was traded to... Actually, he re-signed with the Bulls, but he was traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves. So, with the Timberwolves, actually had a pretty good roster, I must say. But for whatever reason, it didn't work out. Yeah.
You think?
Coincidentally, 3 Bulls played with him in Minnesota as well. Taj Gibson, Derrick Rose, and Luol Deng. And, of course, he played with Andrew Wiggins and Karl Anthony Towns. Jimmy didn't have the most respect for the younger guys on that team. There was notably a practice that happened in Minnesota where Jimmy had to, he played with
y'all need me. You can't guard me. No one can stop me.
Jimmy played with the second team players, and he beat the first team players with Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins. And that led to him being traded to the Philadelphia 76ers, which, all in said, I mean, the Heat teams were good, but Jimmy's best team was that 2018-2019 season. He was only there for half a season.
It was a quad shot team.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was only there for half a season, but that was the best team when it comes to talent that Jimmy Butler ever had. Joel Embiid, J.J. Redick, Tobias Harris, Ben Simmons. I know Lucas hates that, but Ben Simmons was still Ben Simmons at that particular time. He was still a good player. That was a really good Sixers team. And Jimmy, as currently is on the Miami Heat, took them to 2 NBA Finals with guys like Gabe Vincent, Max Strus, Bam Adebayo. And no disrespect to Bam Adebayo. Bam Adebayo's a good big.
Bam's good, yeah.
He's a good big, yeah. But, I mean... This is a step off.
I mean, he's a top 5 center in the NBA currently, so nothing wrong with that.
A little step down from Embiid to Adebayo.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, he's a good number 2. It gets a little shaky the rest of the roster.
I mean, he's really a number 3. But anyway,
don't forget about Tyler Hero. Right?
He's a number 3.
Yeah.
Tyler Hero. It's hard to say what he's going to be. He's injured right now.
Well, he's been a 6th man of the year, so that
I mean,
that's
good.
pretty important.
Washed Kyle Lowry though.
Duncan Robinson, he's played with Kyle Lowry. He's played with Andre Iguodala, P.J. Tucker, Victor Oladipo, Trevor Ariza, Kevin Love, Jay Crowder, and the person we've mentioned most on this podcast so far, Udonis Haslem.
Yeah. OG. Yeah.
So just to wrap up Jimmy Butler's teammates, where do you guys think they have another run in them to get to the NBA Finals as currently constructed, or you think this is that was it for Jimmy?
I think that's
Lucas?
it with this. I think that's it. Look, I don't want to doubt Jimmy because he always proves me wrong, but I don't. They lost rotation players. They didn't replace them. And I think the young guys on this team need a couple of years before they're ready to do that. And by that time, Jimmy's already 34 right now. He's not going to be he's Jimmy can get you to the NBA Finals, but you need to have somebody else with him if he's going to win it all.
Yeah, and as of this recording, the Miami Heat tried really hard to get Dame Lillard, and that's a what if, because I think they would have been a legitimate contender, but without Dame, nah.
Yeah,
well, it was clear that Portland had no interest in trading him to Miami.
Yeah.
Those picks have no value because the Heat are always going to be a fringe playoff team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that the Heat would have a chance, legitimate. Not if they had Lillard, but I really think that if Udonis Haslem didn't retire, I think that would have been a huge difference.
What is your obsession with Udonis?
I just gotta carry it. I just have to be consistent. No, I just want to go back to the Sixers point because Jimmy is funny. Where like any of these players, whether it's Harden, like these guys, it's all about winning. I just want to win. They get to a team that has a winning roster and plenty of potential, where there's James Harden or Jimmy Butler, and then all of a sudden they change their mind and they jump ship. Well, Jimmy Butler, and he says, respect for Brett Brown, or maybe like certain players, Ben Simmons, maybe he just couldn't envision him being on the same team with him. But I don't know. I just was sour on that whole ordeal, him leaving Philly when they came so close. That lucky bounce by Kawhi that Ben mentioned. I think Philly was the best team that he had a chance to win the championship with, but who doesn't want to work in South Beach if you're a single man?
I mean, look, I get it. All right.
Yeah, and you're right. Piggybacking on that, I think even with the people, they're not as honest as the South Beach. They need to just own that. Be like, I actually just want to go to South Beach.
Yeah.
Just own it. Just own it.
All of us were forever changed on January 26th. As we know, the Black Mamba's legacy will be more than just being one of the greatest basketball players of all time. And believe me, Kobe was truly a gifted and intelligent student of the game. I remember him saying, these guys are playing checkers, and I'm out here playing chess. And I would say, I guess so, Kobe. I don't know how to play chess. But I could tell you that Kobe, what filled Kobe's heart with the most pride was his role as a loving husband to Vanessa, daddy to Gigi and Natalia, Bianca, and baby Capri, and a loving son and brother. Kobe was a loyal friend and a true Renaissance man. As many of you know, Kobe and I had a very complex relationship throughout the years, but not unlike another leadership duo, John Lennon and Paul McCartney, whose creative rivalry led to some of the greatest music of all time. Kobe and I pushed one another to play some of the greatest basketball of all time, and I am proud that no other team has accomplished what the three-peat Lakers have done since Shaq and the Kobe Lakers did it.
All right, that was Shaquille O'Neal at the Kobe Bryant Memorial. Yeah, so let's talk about Kobe Bryant and his teammates for a little bit. Kobe was drafted in 1996 by the Charlotte Hornets, but traded to the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, Kobe Bryant has had a lot of great players, Hall of Fame players, play alongside him. But besides Shaq, and Kobe has had some great teammates like Shaquille O'Neal and Robert Horry, who's not a Hall of Famer, but won 7 rings. Paul Gasol, Lamar Odom, Metta World Peace, Derek Fisher. Who Kobe Bryant's second best player besides Shaquille O'Neal? Who was the best 1-2 punch outside of Shaquille O'Neal for Kobe Bryant? You right?
I would say, wow. I think Derek Fisher was drafted the same year as Kobe.
Yes,
and I think they went through a lot of good
seasons.
times. Yeah, a lot of good times, some rough times. I'd say he might have been a stabilizing force for Kobe, because you never heard any rumblings between Kobe and Derek Fisher. So I'd say in terms of just being a consistent teammate, same age, same draft, I'd say he was probably the most important teammate outside of Shaq.
Man, you stole my thunder.
Yeah, before Lucas goes, he did steal your thunder, because Derek Fisher is the most winningest player with Kobe.
Yeah, I
get this.
That.
596 wins with Kobe.
Sorry,
that's a 70% winning percentage off of 848 games played together.
Yeah,
13 seasons. Go ahead, Lucas.
Well, I was going to say Derek Fisher because he allowed Kobe to, he could run the offense, but certainly Derek Fisher, I think, is the prototype for the modern D&3 point guard.
Right.
Like Pat Bev, like a guy that can, I can dribble up the ball, but you're really running the offense. I'm just here as a figurehead type deal. But if I had to go with somebody else besides him, and I'm not going to say the obvious one, I'll say another unobvious one. I'm going to say Meta World Peace.
Okay.
I like Meta World Peace because they Kobe got the best out of him. And I thought that was cool.
And Ben?
So if we're going most talented, his second most talented in the first iteration of the Lakers with Kobe and Shaq, definitely Eddie Jones. He's an all-star.
Good one.
Potentially Nick Van Exel. Definitely Eddie Jones. And then the second iteration, it was easily Pau Gasol.
Yeah,
I would say.
Yeah, my answer would be Pau Gasol as well.
Eddie Jones, I think they had 4 all-stars. One of the only times I think they had
Eddie Jones.
Yeah, that year, Kobe's first All-Star. I think the Lakers had 4 NBA All-Stars with Van Exel and Eddie Jones. But it's definitely Eddie Jones was a monster on both ends. So
Absolutely.
I would say him.
I always saw the end of Eddie Jones's career with the Heat, so I didn't really get to see him prime.
That was a good grab, Ben, because I was going to mention that Kobe Bryant didn't start until Eddie Jones got traded away.
That is right. That is absolutely right.
That's how good Eddie Jones was. People forget, not the most memorable player in NBA history, but Eddie Jones was a really good player.
Yeah.
Really
good.
Yeah.
And to continue, I'm just going to go down because Kobe played 20 years with the Lakers. So I'm just going to go start rattle off some names of some players that maybe we didn't remember. Nick Van Exel was good too. Nick Van Exel was really good. I think his best years was with Denver, but Nick Van Exel, yeah, he was good. He was good. Kobe played his last season with Byron Scott, who won championships with Magic Johnson. And I mentioned Robert Horry, Derek Fisher. Robert Horry was so clutch. One of the most clutch. Big shot Bob. Here's a name: Cedric Ceballos.
Oh, gosh.
Mr. Blindfold Slam Dunk Contest, Cedric Ceballos,
Yeah. Rick Fox. Who's a good player.
He's a solid player.
Yeah, he's a solid player. Brian Shaw. Now I'm just going through the first 3P Lakers right now. Ron Harper, Glenn Rice. And then, towards the end, he actually played with Gary Payton and Karl Malone as well.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, they were ring chasing.
Yeah, that was that famous ring chase film.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they lost to Detroit, I want to say.
Yeah.
I mean, they got there. They just couldn't close the deal.
It's funny you mentioned not Robert Horry. What's his name? Ron Harper and then Horace Grant. It seems that when Phil Jackson got there, all those former Bulls started being attracted to that team.
Yep.
That's right.
So let's talk about the first 3P. Because the first 3P, like Shaq said in a clip, nobody's done it since. What was your thoughts on the first 3P Lakers? Just how dominant they were, just the talent they had on their team with Phil Jackson as a head coach. Ben, what you got?
It's interesting because they traded away all-stars to get 3-and-D role players. And again, not to talk about recent chips, but Denver kind of has their 2 stars. They're like, okay, we got our 2 stars. We need veterans who have rings and experience. We need our Rick Foxes. We need our Robert Horrys. Derek Fisher kind of ascended to be a leader. And so they traded Nick Van Exel and they traded Eddie Jones, who were all-stars. So it's interesting what they did, how that team, because those teams are winning. Kobe Bryant's rookie year, I think they won 61 games, I believe. So they were already like a 60-win team.
Yeah.
And they had to figure out the pieces. So it's interesting thinking back to my middle school years of how they accomplished that. You have to add vets, you got to add defenders. It can't just be but it would have been interesting to see if Eddie Jones stayed, what that would have looked like.
Yeah, I do remember before your ride goes, I do remember they couldn't get over the hump against Utah.
Yes.
And remember the game, the end of the game where Kobe airballed a couple shots.
I was going to mention that.
That was part of his maturation. He definitely learned from that.
So, I'm glad you brought that up simply because that was a big deal. I watched that live on TV and I was like, all right, he shot an air ball. And then Maurice, he shot another. And then Lucas, he shot a third. I was like, what is going on? And then later on, Kobe said, look, I could have made that shot. He just wasn't strong enough. He didn't have it was on target. But like you said, it's part of his maturation as a player. As far as that team, look, New Jersey didn't have a shot. The Sixers didn't have a chance, even though they snuck in and got that game won. And the Pacers didn't have a shot just because Shaq was so dominant. And Kobe in that Pacers series turned into the Kobe that we came to know, which is dominant and clutch. Yeah, all those role players that you were mentioning, in order to get that roster constructed, they had to sacrifice some of the flash, some of the youth, Nick Van Exel, Eddie Jones, so they could get the right players around Shaq and Kobe, which was critical for what they needed to accomplish to get the three-peat.
Absolutely. Yeah. I didn't watch too much basketball at that time, so I'm going off of highlights and stats. But I will say
playing
this.
with Legos. You're playing with Legos?
I was not a Legos kid, actually, believe it or not. I'm sorry,
Play-Doh.
More of a Transformers kid, if I'm being honest.
Transformers, Transformers, okay.
Yeah. Power Rangers, Transformers,
Beast
that type
Wars.
of stuff.
There you go.
Oh, that's when I got started on it. That's when I got started.
Don't ever tell anyone you watch Power Rangers. I'm sorry.
Hey now. Don't be hating. Power Rangers. Let's go. Anyway, so getting back to the topic at hand here, I will say this. Kobe needed Shaq to win those championships. Let's be crystal clear. And being Shaq's teammate, I think, helped him realize the importance of being, prepared, because Shaq wasn't. And even Shaq admitted this, that if Shaq trained as much as Kobe did, they would have won like 10 championships.
Yeah.
Because Shaq was like, I think at one point, towards the end of that 3P, he was like 360 pounds, I want to say, 380.
Yeah,
like
he was pretty big.
Big kid.
Yeah.
I say kid, he was my age now.
He's a big man.
But he's a big man. He's a big guy.
He's a big Power Ranger.
Oh, my gosh. I was like a kid. You can't even use that against me.
Could you imagine Shaq in a Power Ranger outfit, guys?
I could.
Oh, my God.
That's the thing.
Wow.
I could.
Wow.
It'd be
a
fantastic.
big Shaq pink Power Ranger.
Hey, you know what? Right now, Shaq, shout out to him for all those turning Papa John's around, because that could have been a disaster for that company. Shout out to him.
Yeah.
Tycoon for sure. That being said, I didn't really know how good Eddie Jones was because I only saw him with the Heat at the end of his career. I can't say, what I will say is that I know pretty much from 2005 on, so pretty much after the dismantle of that team, so I can really talk more to those players.
Let's talk about Kobe's second back-to-back championship run. Completely different roster, with the exception of one person, Derek Fisher.
Yeah.
He was there again. He was there
He
again.
didn't leave for 2 years, though. He left for 2 years for Utah.
He got paid. He got paid.
He got his money, and then he came back.
Yeah.
So, Kobe's second iteration, he played with guys like Trevor Ariza, Andrew Bynum, when Andrew Bynum was actually good, Paul Gasol, Lamar Odom. That three right there was really the championship core for the Lakers. Kobe, Gasol, and Odom.
Agreed.
Odom was very underrated.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of the deepest front court that I've ever seen.
I would say, just to give Lamar Odom his flowers real quick, he was one of the first players of this generation where he was tall, lanky, he could dribble the ball, he could pass, he could shoot. He was really like a five-tool player that we see all the time now in NBA.
Yeah, Swiss Army knife, yeah.
If he was playing in today's NBA, I think he would have been a multi-time All-Star. But I think part of the issue was that they didn't know how to use him back then.
I agree.
Outside of his personal issues,
Yeah. Who else?
Jordan Farmer, Sasha Vucevic.
You're stealing his thunder.
You're going down the list here, but Shannon Brown.
Brown.
And a former player that we talked about this episode before, Metta World Peace.
Yep, Ron Artest.
Yeah, Ron Artest. The guy has been around. I'll say that much.
Matt Barnes.
Matt Barnes as well. Matt Barnes. I didn't mention Matt Barnes yet. Matt Barnes. Steve Blake. Theo Ravitz. I forget Theo Ravitz played with the Lakers.
Was he? Oh, he did. I forgot about that.
The 2010-2011 season.
That must have been his last season. And
to wrap up Kobe's last season, he played with guys like D'Angelo Russell. He was more of a mentor at this point in his career. D'Angelo Russell, Julius Randle, some of the guys who's making an impact in the NBA today. Do you guys think that Kobe got the best out of all the teammates he ever played with?
No.
No?
No, I don't think so. And the same problem that he had with Jordan, because sometimes Kobe was too mean. And for some guys,
I mean, that's a good way to put it.
That doesn't work. Some guys that doesn't work. It doesn't work for Dwight. It didn't work for what's his name? What was the Kwame Brown? You know, it didn't work for some guys. Like Kobe rubbed some guys the wrong way, and that's just part of the game.
And it's the same thing with Jimmy, because we mentioned Jimmy had problems with Minnesota. When you're that competitive, when you're that high of a competitive person, you're going to piss off some players. I mean, we hear the stories about Michael. He punched Steve Kerr in practice. You know what I mean? Yeah. When you're that competitive and you just want the best, you just want to be the best you could possibly be, that rubs off on your teammates. Yeah. Either that can rub them off in a good way or rub them off in a bad way, and you have problems there. But we see it from the greats as well. So I get what you're saying, Lucas. You right?
Yeah. I'm glad you interrupted me, because that is a phenomenal point. You're talking about the practices and the expectations of people around you. Not everybody responds to that tough love, to that overly competitive, overzealous spirit of wanting to be on top. Kobe had that, and that's what he was known for. And players, just like with the Chicago Bulls, players admitted Jordan was a jerk sometimes, but they knew that was necessary for them to achieve their goal. And I think the same thing is for the Lakers. As far as getting the best out of players, I think it worked for some, didn't work for others. I think it worked for Bynum, because as you saw, when Bynum was not with Kobe and he went to the Sixers, that didn't work out well. There was no one to hold him accountable.
Yeah.
You know, the guy's bowling and he hurts his knee bowling and didn't even suit up for the Sixers. He got paid, though. But the point is I just look back at that time. Kobe, let's just be real, he was languishing as a Laker because Shaq left. And he couldn't win anything until he got a solid front court, like Lucas said, a solid center that helped play defense. Paul Gasol did everything. He passed, score, and then the Swiss Army knife, like you mentioned. It's funny, like that team really, you could lift it up and put it on the 96 Bulls. You had Odom, which was Pippen for Kobe. Right. You had Ron Artest, or Metta World Peace, which was Rodman for Kobe. And then you had Phil Jackson pulling all the pieces together. So I think he did get the most out of players, but like you were saying, he did rub some guys the wrong way.
Now that we've set up the debate with all the facts on Jimmy Butler and Kobe Bryant, it's time for you to make your case.
At this point, it's not about our opinion, it's about yours.
We will see you on your favorite social media platform, ready to check out your takes. Chime in on our Instagram at NBA_NowAndThen_pod, on Twitter or X at NBA_NowAndThen, and on our Facebook page, NBA Now and Then. So that's it, guys. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We're going to come back with some more great content, more great comparisons, not just player comparisons. We got some really cool categories that we kind of tipped our hat to earlier in this episode. But anyway, we'll see you guys next time. Take care. Peace.
See you.
Have a good one.